Welcome to Florida Mint on Florida Man with Greg, Wayne, Josh, and Cameron, the podcast where Floridians discuss the legends, lore, and crazy stories that always seem to take place in Florida. My name is Wayne.
I'm Cameron.
I'm Josh.
Hey.
And that's how you know what we sound like. This is the Florida Man on Florida Man podcast. We usually start off every episode with some headlines, crazy news around the state. We move into a section that's kind of personal stories that we share.
Get to know us.
So you can get to know us. And then the last part of the show is Florida history, some kind of legend, some kind
My
of lore.
favorite section.
I do.
Yeah.
And Cameron Hayes, he loves fruit more than anything.
I do love fruit
He's a
more than anything.
Fruit man.
Yeah.
I
love apples.
We discussed
specifically.
this early on in our show, way back in like episode 9, 10,
Yeah.
his addiction to apples. But
Yeah.
then
And we bought him apples for his birthday.
we bought him apples for his birthday. But then one of our sponsors is Martinelli's.
Yes.
Oh, I know.
They heard about his apple addiction.
Apple juice.
So now
Sparkling
when they
apple
send us
cider.
product to give away, we have to hide it from Cameron.
So thirsty.
I'm looking for it still.
He's literally thirsty for apple juice.
We have
so
to keep,
thirsty.
we keep the stuff from our sponsors in a separate warehouse so that Cameron doesn't break in and eat the fruit.
I'll sniff it out.
Yeah, he will. Let's go.
Okay, headlines.
Headlines.
Hey,
Let me
Lions.
tell you the news of what's going on in Florida.
Tell us
Okay.
the news of what's going on.
Just the good stuff. So, Florida man
Okay.
buys a $140,000 Porsche
yes.
or Porsche
Mhm.
or Porsche
nope. Not
however
that.
you want to say it,
Not that one.
with a check that he printed from his home computer.
Okay.
Hey,
Okay.
banks are really changing it up. You
Yeah.
know when you could like go to a bank and just give a check?
The
and
government
it'll
does it.
deposit
They don't get in trouble.
Yeah,
That's
now you have
true.
to do it yourself at home.
That's cool.
It's more work.
Use your own ink.
So, anyways, this Florida man, 42-year-old Casey Kelly, was charged with grand theft of a motor vehicle because the check that he printed was fake.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
Not part of a bank, real bank.
It
Right.
wasn't part of a real bank.
The
This
Bank of
is-
Casey Kelly.
Which is interesting because, like, 2 months ago, somebody sent me an electronic check for the first time that I was just supposed to
Freaked you out, right?
print off and take to the bank. And I'm
Yep.
like, this isn't real.
They're going to arrest me.
There's no
Send
way
me
this is real.
money.
Yeah, right.
It was real. I didn't even know that was a thing. But anyways, this
I'm not falling for it. We're no longer friends.
Yes.
Yeah, this didn't happen with this guy. He actually just made, well, he probably found one on Google Images,
Yep.
wrote his name on it.
I
Hold
love
on.
that.
So, does he go to the Porsche dealership first, and they tell him the amount, and he's like, "Agreed. Let me go home and get a check."
I think he just goes in, walks in, and was like, I'll just take it. Like,
Oh, so he
I'll
brought
just
like a
write you a
blank
check.
check with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. He printed
Wow.
a blank check.
so anyways, he this Porsche
No.
dealership
Porsche.
lets him drive off with this $140,000
What in the world?
911 turbo.
Oh,
And
GT.
then
GT3.
no,
Oh,
just a turbo.
okay.
I think they probably didn't want to offend him. They probably assumed he was rich and didn't want to be like, sir, this is a fake check.
When
Yeah, they're
someone
like-
walks in with a check,
They were
and
probably as
knows-
confused as I was. They're like,
Yeah.
is this real?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah.
I mean,
The world's
honestly.
changing fast.
It does. It is flat.
So he, oh geez. So anyways, they let him drive off. He has it for 2 or 3 days,
Oh, I
and
love it.
they didn't even catch on at first until he was picked up for trying to buy 3 Rolex watches with a fake check. Which
Well, how many
those
hands you got?
those Rolex exactly. You don't
2
need 3.
hands,
I mean,
yeah.
2. I understand.
Yeah.
But he spent like $61,000 on these
What the
Rolexes.
crap?
Because things you can flip fast are Porsches.
Yeah,
Right.
Porsche.
And Rolexes.
Right.
Exactly. So, anyways, they pick him up for this grand theft, take him to jail. He's done.
And they're
for.
like, nice car, by the way.
yeah.
He couldn't just stop while he was ahead. Do you think he would have gotten
I
caught
know.
if he hadn't tried the
Really,
Rolexes?
well, I had to because the bank's not going to clear it.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, at some point, it's going to come
It
back
doesn't
to
go
him.
to a bank. It's a fake check.
I mean, if you're going to print a fake check,
It
might
has
as
to
well-
go somewhere.
you might as well print like a fake ID and just go the whole 9 yards.
This guy.
I mean,
just make a
print
bank.
a fake life, bro.
whenever I print the
Create
fake
your own
checks, so I
bank.
did.
Yeah.
This is
Blank
true.
check. I've seen the movie.
I
It's a
love
great
it.
movie.
He couldn't buy all that stuff.
No.
No. All right. Next headline. We
And
had.
she was nice though. She was kind of pedo-ish though.
In that movie Blank
Yeah.
Check.
Oh
She
yeah,
was like in her
it was a little weird.
30s, and
She
he
was
was
just trying to
8.
make a living.
Yeah, that's weird.
Anyways, this next headline, we have a Florida man impersonating a cop. So we've
seems
had
normal.
Yep.
a story like this before. And I think we also had one of a Florida man impersonating an attorney and
Right.
getting himself off
Hello.
off of the charges that he
And
had.
Right.
what's the airplane one? Flight marshal?
The
Air
U.S.
Marshal.
Marshal.
Yeah. We had that guy crossing the bridge and the tolls.
So this one happened in Pinellas County today or yesterday. I mean, this is like
Recent,
this is
baby.
And he
like
got himself off?
breaking
We got the
news.
hottest news here.
Yeah, it happened yesterday. There was an off-duty deputy sitting on the side of. Actually, I think he was on duty. He was sitting on the side of US 19 in Clearwater, and saw this orange Chevy Camaro
Come on.
drive
Ooh.
by, flashing blue and red lights,
Yikers.
and he pulled the car pulled over another car on the highway.
Like Dukes of Hazzard.
Exactly. I think the person in the Chevy Camaro motioned over to the car in front of him, so that car pulls over.
Okay.
But instead of pulling behind him and getting out and doing that whole thing, he just keeps going. So I don't know.
He was like, get out of my way,
I think
basically.
so. I think
Yeah.
he was just using it as just a way
Yeah.
to do something.
Be
Maybe
mean.
he's bored.
Yeah.
I get it.
So the deputy pulled over the Camaro and arrested an 18-year-old driver.
oh,
19?
18.
18.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so
Good for you, bro.
wow.
basically when they asked him about it, they're like, the 18-year-old was like, it is what it is, bro.
Wow.
And he was literally
Love that
quoted,
honesty.
quoted as saying that to the cop. So
Yeah.
Gen
Yeah.
Z.
Yeah.
the one
Attorneys
of the,
say either don't say something or just say
It is what it is.
yeah, well, the whole thing is there are so many unmarked cop cars now.
Bingo.
Right.
Like the article has another person from the Pinellas County Sheriff's Office saying, "Yeah, I get it. I was in a pickup, like an unmarked pickup truck,
Yeah.
as an on-duty officer.
Yeah.
So it's weird, right? Like
Right.
anybody,
I
any
mean,
kind of car could
Unmarked
pull you
cop
over.
cars are kind of a dumb idea anyway.
It's weird. I mean, I feel like
I'm
I'd
not
be
in agreement with
uncomfortable,
it.
not knowing for sure, are you a cop? Even
Right.
if somebody
I saw-
pulled me over.
I saw a tweet the other day that said Generation Z, they're uncomfortable sending a wrong order back at a restaurant,
Mhm.
but they're not uncomfortable body slamming a cop.
What?
And I think that pretty much explains, the whole generation. Actually, it makes a lot of sense. This guy gets pulled over, for
Is what it is.
impersonating, and then goes, "This is what it is, bro."
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
What
Where's
a
the
mess.
income? I mean, how you get the income to buy these cop lights for the
Parents.
inside of your car?
Parents,
Amazon,
I think.
dude.
Amazon.
Yeah, put it on
You know, a lot of
credit card.
cops impersonate cops.
Every
That's
day.
true. That's true. All right. So next headline, we have a Florida man that takes a 9-mile turnpike ride
Come on.
Okay.
on the hood of
cool.
a semi-truck.
Oh.
There it is.
All right. So this was
Wowzers.
sent to me quite a bit this week.
I was about to say,
And
it
it's
sounds
a-
familiar.
It's a great video. Somebody sent it to me, I think right before we taped last week. I think one of those was our friend Chow.
Yep.
He sent it to me
Chow!
Okay.
right before
Yeah.
we filmed last week, and I just didn't squeeze this one in. But this is a great
I
video.
think I know where this is going.
we
Come
need to
on.
before I
There's a
even.
competition. Let me interrupt. here.
Okay, go ahead.
There's a competition with local theme parks. They're
Yes.
always trying to one up the next one. Look
Yes.
at our slide. Look at our coaster. What I think this is probably a prospective theme
Like-
park ride.
Okay, just you
Ha-
go out and you
yeah.
take a ride in
Jump
the
on this
middle
semi.
of the interstate.
We're
It's
going
called
to
the
drive
Florida-
you down.
It's the Florida Man coaster.
Yeah, if you survive, you're in, baby.
You're alive, baby.
Yeah. So, anyways, if before I even read the article, we're gonna post this on our socials.
Yeah, we are.
Okay.
You need to watch the video.
It's
'Cause
insane.
It's insane.
Does he look like he's having fun?
Yes. So, anyways, this Florida man, he was only in a t-shirt and it looks like a pair of gray underwear.
That's what's up.
Uh,
Oh my gosh.
He basically took a 9-mile ride, which is a long way, on the hood of a semi.
I didn't
That's
know
my
you
morning
could,
jog.
You could steer the
It's
semi.
not your morning jog.
That's what I didn't say it was my morning jog.
That's a morning jog.
For who? Anyway, so this the video is seen like the tractor trailer of the semi trying to wiggle the guy off.
Wiggle,
What?
wiggle.
He's
Yeah.
literally going turning super fast, trying to get him to and braking on and off to try to get him to fall off.
But in front of him, that's where he would fall off, right?
Yeah.
I think you got to put it in reverse and just slam it.
Yeah.
But what happened was this guy was in his own car with another passenger. I
Okay.
think he was driving like a Toyota, and he just stopped on one of the
Oh, God.
ramps on the turnpike
Right.
and just started running into the interstate. And so he ran across 3 lanes, went into the, I think, northbound, and just basically got in the way of traffic. People started slowing down, and when the semi slowed down, he literally climbed a semi.
That's what's up.
Drugs are an incredible drug.
Yeah.
I would think so. He literally climbed the semi and started punching the windshield with his fist. So there's like fist-size holes in the glass of a semi truck.
So he was real strong.
I mean, he was super strong.
Yeah.
But what he was
scary.
saying was, go faster.
Exactly.
Like he wanted to have fun. And the guy starts wiggling in the car,
I've
and he's like,
paid.
you get
This
it?
roller coaster isn't fast
I have my
enough.
ticket.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just so scary.
What
but
was
like,
the end game?
I have no idea. I mean, I would think, like Josh said, probably there was
Drugs.
probably drugs
Well, I hear
involved.
he took the 2 wipers, bent them around them, and tied them.
Yeah.
Like a
And then he was
seatbelt.
just riding.
What a vibe.
No,
And-
but he really was like, I mean, he was just a mess, like bloodied from like banging his
I think the
forehead and
punching,
fist.
yeah.
I mean, so it had to have been drugs involved, which is sad. They took him and Baker acted him, I believe. So hopefully
For
he's
sure.
okay now. But yeah, just wild video.
Well, from the truck driver's perspective, you don't have a lot of options because if you stop, this crazy person might try to climb inside.
I agree.
You don't want to go too
Yeah.
fast, and then you mush them.
Yeah,
you know?
the,
and so
the
it's,
truck driver literally said
Yeah, mushing is-
he did not know what to do.
Oh, you know,
And
Yeah,
they,
because
they don't
there's-
train you for that in truck driver school.
He was driving pretty slow.
And I've
Like, he
driven
wasn't-
the semi-tractor game, and there's nothing where a
You've-
Florida man jumps on
yeah,
the hood
no.
and starts.
There will be downloadable content
Yeah, I've
after the
seen,
story.
I've seen the instruction videos. It's not there.
I love it.
All right, so our last one.
Come on.
This one's interesting.
They end too fast.
More interesting than that?
Let me just tell you, this one's interesting.
Okay. Is it newer than that one, though?
Was he
It-
trying to do like Terminator 2, like turn himself into liquid and get through the windshield? That's
Maybe.
probably it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I figured it out.
So Florida man
Okay.
is on one of the most famous pictures ever taken,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody knows about it.
What the
Hold on.
crap?
Like, you have both seen this picture,
Okay, let me think about
and
it.
there's this Florida man on it.
Mona Lisa.
That's a painting.
I think he's in the background.
That's a painting, though.
He said, well, picture.
Jackson Pollock.
Yes.
Okay, I knew it.
All right, not a painting, a picture.
Okay.
So
don't
this
know the
Florida
difference.
man, Paul Cole, comes forward and is saying that he is in the Abbey Road picture of the Beatles walking across Abbey
Whoa.
Road.
No way.
So the
Okay.
picture for the album Abbey Road,
Yeah.
which I believe was their last album,
Come on, man.
Never
in
even heard of Abbey Road.
This is a happy
1969.
podcast.
And so they took this picture.
Okay.
You had to have seen it walking across the
Crosswalk.
crosswalk.
What
Yeah.
songs
the four of
does
them.
Abbey Road sing?
We'll in the post episode
Beatles.
interview, we'll cover all
Oh,
of
they
it.
sing the Beatles song?
Yeah.
I love it.
So, anyways, the picture of the 4 Beatles walking across the crosswalk. Well, if you look closely, there's a guy standing on the sidewalk in the back
Mm-hmm.
that looks like he is facing a car, which I guess is a cop car.
Uh-oh.
So this happened in 1969.
Right.
And Paul Cole says that he is that guy. It's hard to see.
That's who I always focused on in that photo. It's not
Exactly.
about him.
It's
Right.
hard to see him really clearly, but he said it's him. And this happened 35 years ago.
Okay.
And Cole says he doesn't really have any proof
Right,
besides
it
the
was me
fact
too.
that-
That's important.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Cool.
a picture of him he's saying, so I
Yeah.
guess that's your proof, but it's
Yeah.
just kind of hard to see. But he said it was just so odd. He remembers it so clearly
Yeah,
because
there's a picture of it
they
right there.
he said it just looks so odd, like 4 kooky guys walking like ducks in a row
Bro,
across the street.
Mirrored man, bro. Look it up. It's scary.
So,
me.
anyways, he's a Florida man
Yeah.
from Brevard County.
What?
And he was on vacation
Yep.
in London.
Okay.
And so basically the only reason that he was outside while this happened was because his wife was in a museum. He said he was tired of going into these museums. He was done with them.
And she's like, look at that old cop car out there.
So yeah, basically he went outside and he said he was talking to a deputy that was sitting in his
Word.
cop car. And so then all of a sudden he looks over and he said the reason that he remembers it because he doesn't even remember seeing a photographer.
right.
And so I don't know if that's true. Like if the photographer just came up real quick, took the picture of them walking across and was done, I feel like it would have some setup.
I feel like it would be a close set.
But he said that he remembers it just because of the fact that they looked so strange. Like you didn't see anybody that dressed like that in London or anywhere.
Right.
Yeah.
Paul
with
McCartney
pants
doesn't
on.
even have any shoes on in the picture.
What?
Now I have a question. Did Paul Cole not realize this until recently?
Well, he said that's interesting because he
That's
said that
interesting you asked that.
he didn't know until his wife came home with the album. He said he doesn't listen to the Beatles. He never liked them. He
I
listens
don't like
to,
music.
he listens to classical music. But his wife,
and he doesn't like a museum. No. There are holes in this story.
so he said that his wife bought the album and brought it home one day because she had to learn a song on the piano for a wedding or something.
Sure.
And then he's looking at it. He's like,
That's me.
that's me.
God bless.
And so he starts telling the story, and he only came out with this story recently. He said he's been telling it to family and friends for years.
Right.
Okay.
But he said that the thing is, there's other people that claim to be that guy on the album art.
And he's
there's like
had enough.
multiple people that said,
Right.
Yeah.
and he's like, no, that's
they
not,
remember
that's
it.
not you.
Photographically, they're like,
Exactly.
I know it's me.
There were lights set
He
up
sat
and there
back
was
for 60
photographer.
years and was like, I'm not going to say nothing.
Well, he said the only reason
I don't
that
listen to music.
people should believe him was because of the fact that for months he was talking about the 4 kooky guys walking across the street in weird get up that he saw in London before the album ever came out. So that's what he says.
Find
Hey,
me
Paul,
someone
that's
he
still-
told that to.
Yeah, Paul, that's still your word against everybody else, brother.
That's exactly the same.
Guys, I got a secret.
What?
It was me in the photo.
I knew it.
I
looked
knew
like
it was
you.
Cameron.
It was
That
me.
body shape.
Get out of here.
Fellas.
Hey,
Joshua.
So, last week,
Okay.
I got to talk about a date of mine.
Oh, that was a oof.
What a wild ride that
That
day
was
was.
a wild
It was
ride.
a lot of fun.
We had a lot of people write in concerned for your safety.
Well, I'm still here, still
Okay,
present,
great. Praise God.
living with you
Yep.
in our. You got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it.
So,
forget
if you would recap it for me.
I can do that
For
for,
the
you.
crowd?
You're looking at me. I'll recap it.
I appreciate that.
Basically, last week, if you haven't listened to last week's episode, Josh went on a date. He met a girl on an app called Bumble.
Yes.
Yes.
It's a dating app.
Mhm.
And this girl picked him up immediately, was unhappy with the clothes he was wearing, made him wear this
it wasn't
like
an offensive shirt.
kind of what's
Linen?
linen
Linen. White
Yeah.
linen.
white linen outfit.
Also seen on the Abbey Road album.
Right.
Yes.
Drives him into the middle of the woods where there's like Beamers and BMWs, always other fancy cars,
Same car.
Porsches.
Yeah, Porsches.
And he gets out there, and basically there's all these people.
Yep.
Meets a guy named Kiwi,
Yes.
and they're immediately separated by sex. Females to the left, Josh and the boys to the right.
That's
Yeah.
right.
This is an odd first date already,
Oh, yeah, it's weird.
and they're separated.
Yep.
and
takes his shoes.
They take
yeah.
took his shoes away and put banana
Leaf.
They were
banana
nice,
leaf
though.
sandals on
Sandals.
him.
They were classy.
Josh is now kind of alone, and as they hand him a kiwi with a
Mhm.
number on it,
Kumquat.
a kumquat with a
Yep.
number
That's
on it.
close.
And as he is bending over to take his kumquat,
Yes.
he drops a snack,
Portable.
a portable snack that he
4
brought with
incher.
him,
Yep.
and it was a
A beef stick.
Slim Jim.
Slim Jim.
Name brand.
A Slim
Should we
Jim.
drop the name brand?
Stuff starts going crazy. They kind of close the doors to this kind of ceremony hall they have out
Oh,
there.
yeah. This was a scary part.
Yeah,
And
the food hall.
immediately the entire crowd starts chanting carne, carne, carne.
Carne.
And
Nancy.
that's where we left off.
Okay.
A lot of people wrote in, like,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
happened
yeah.
to Josh on his first date with
Well,
this girl?
I'm still here, baby. Just
I'll
don't worry.
translate real quick.
Her
Carne
name was
means-
Clementine, by the way.
Yes, she was.
Carne means meat.
Thank you.
Now, do you want? Now, Josh is used to people chanting meat when he walks in the room.
Yeah.
Uh,
meat.
Yeah,
Meat.
I took it. It was offensive at first, but
You realize it's
with my
complimentary.
swagger, I get it.
Do you want Cameron and I to set the mood for you
Just
to start?
softly.
Okay. So we're going to be the crowd.
Okay.
You just got busted with your meat treat,
Yeah.
Let's do
and
it.
we're going to start chanting.
And now I am walking towards the center.
We're getting back in the
Yep.
scene.
Yep.
Okay.
Part 2, here we
we
go. Carne, carne, carne.
So I'm walking back I'm being led to the stage, and I hear the
Ooh.
carne. And so naturally I go, carne.
Oh, you started chanting.
I didn't want to be left out. I honestly didn't think
You
this
thought
was
it was like
about
a party trick?
I didn't think it was about me. Because
So you drop your Slim Jim, and they start chanting carne, and you're like, oh, dope,
I just
what's up?
assumed time for carne.
Yeah.
Carnival.
Carnival. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, maybe it's the time. So we're all being led.
So you're chanting
So-
with them.
Yeah, so I go carn. Well, I just kind of
It's
say
a
it
whole
under my
group
breath.
syndrome, though. I mean,
Yeah.
you just
You
It
got to be
is.
a
do
part.
whatever everybody
Right.
else is doing.
So the guy that's on my right, he's like, you're not supposed to be saying that. And I'm like, what?
Cut
Get
it
with the
out.
program, guy.
Yeah, he kind of side mouths it to me. I'm like, okay. And then he goes, Hey, Gordon, are you sure about this?
Who's Gordon?
So I got that Gordon on my left, I find out,
Okay.
and Barry on my right.
Okay.
And so Barry's like, are you sure about this? And he's like, yeah, read the bylaws. I'm like, what the
What
crap?
bylaws?
So now we're all kind of centered around this center stage, right?
Yeah.
Right.
There are 3 chairs on it, which are very nice, and they're
Okay.
like carved out of wood.
3
Like
chairs.
ceremonial
Yeah,
chairs.
yeah.
Okay.
On the bottom of the chairs, there's like engravings. One says true, one says false, one says Partho. Nothing weird about that at all.
No.
What?
There's like 3 people sitting in them, and they're all kind of eating plates of fruit off their lap.
Okay.
Definitely a cult.
Yeah.
So-
Obviously a cult.
So that's pretty normal because I got the same setup at my house.
Do you? I've been there. I've never seen it.
It's
No, I've
very
never seen
similar.
that.
So Gordon walks up to this pedestal that's on the stage, and now I'm starting to realize I think this is about me
You're in
Mhm.
trouble.
because I'm kind of led up a couple steps. So I'm kind of higher than everybody, but Gordon's now up on the main stage,
Okay.
and he grabs this big brown horn, and he blows into it, and you know what you expect to hear?
A horn sound.
Yeah, brr, 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 you know, big
Yeah.
chant,
Right.
and it's just like.
Wind noise?
I don't know if he didn't know how to use it, but I could even see like mists of like droplets coming out.
Nothing but spit comes out.
Nothing but spit,
Woof.
and it was gross. So then he goes true eye. I'm trying to remember how he said it because
You got it.
it was a big speech. Triune, sorry,
Okay.
triune interceders to Mother Earth.
Jesus
What?
Christ.
Yeah, he says that real loud, and I'm like, this is definitely about me.
Yeah.
I kind of need to get out of here.
At what point did you start praying? Like, I'm in big trouble.
I think I was always mentally praying.
Right.
Yeah.
Unceasingly. I stay unceasingly.
Meet Lord
in-
protects me.
Come
Yes.
on.
So he says, triune interceders to Mother Earth. I have an emergency motion to present the assembly. And so
This is super official.
yeah, I'm like, okay, I'm in deep stuff. He said, according to the bylaws, any suspicion that a member has gone omni, it will be presented to the assembly in full sun, and I have evidence that a member has gone omni.
Is he
Omni
talking about
meaning
you?
omnivore.
You've got. Oh.
Omni meaning omnivore. It really starts to connect then that
What's omnivore mean?
that
The
you
old
guys were
classic-
kind of on the right track last week.
meat eater.
This was kind of a very pro fruit, very strict,
Cult.
Yeah, that was very obvious.
cultish. Well, it wasn't at the time. You see,
Yeah,
Ken
a
and I
man
were-
named Kiwi and Barry.
Your girlfriend's name was Clementine.
well, his name was Barry with an E, and so
Yeah,
I thought.
That's
The
obvious.
spelling doesn't matter.
So,
So we knew you were in a fruit cult last week. You're just
Yes.
finding out for sure.
well, you don't assume that until you get on stage and someone's saying this guy's an omni.
Yeah. And then you
Right.
realize they're going to sacrifice me probably.
Bingo.
Okay.
So now he's looking at these leaders, these 3 leaders of the thing, and they look at me, and I see them point at me, and their heads shake no, and so I'm like, no, is that a good no or bad no?
Yeah.
Right.
And then one of them stands up, and he's like, normally I wouldn't handle this
Mhm.
the way it's going to be handled, but because you presented it under full sun, our response will be in full sun.
What the heck's happening?
What
to
does
you?
that mean?
I guess full sun is
Like daylight?
I guess it's a fruit term. There were a lot of fruit
Oh,
terms here.
jeez.
Well, yeah, they're in a fruit cult, bro.
Well, that's what I'm.
What is a fruit cult?
They believe in fruit, bro.
I mean, I believe in fruit, but I don't go around like going out to a field to talk about it.
Well, not yet. You don't.
Oh, jeez.
So they go, Gordon, this man is a guest. He is not a
Yes.
full member, and you would have known that today we invite guests because Mercury is in retrograde, and it's a celebration. If you had attended the last 2 harvests, Gordon, you would have known this is a time for guests.
Okay, so Gordon, he thought you were a member of the cult already.
Well,
Okay.
he immediately says he's wearing the linen of a member.
Oh, Clementine
Oh,
gave you the
that's true.
clothes.
And that's
And I'm
like
like, oh.
betrayal to have a Slim Jim in your
Mhm.
pocket.
That's it.
So he
He
thought
thought
you
I'd
were a
gone
fruit
omni.
member
Yep.
that had
I
gone
gotcha.
cheated.
Yeah.
on some
And so
meat.
he was going to call me out in full sun,
Mhm.
Right.
which is an intense
That
thing.
sounds like a bad thing.
Yeah. Well, they luckily they stuck up for me. They go, clearly that's not his clothing. Look at how his belly protrudes between the buttons.
Oh no.
He's a guest. He's a potential propagation. And
Wait,
and for-
what?
A potential propagation.
It's another fruit term I found out.
Okay.
And I'm in for possible grafting, which is another fruit term. I think when you slice off a fruit and you add it.
Okay.
Now that sounds weird saying now, but
Yeah.
at the time,
That's
one
the only
didn't.
thing
didn't
about this whole
sound
story
weird
that
then.
sounds weird.
Yeah, grafting is a harsh. It seems pretty harsh. And they say, this is too offensive for you, Gordon. The Triune will discuss your punishment. So I'm like, that's it, baby.
Boom.
Get me out of here.
Yeah.
See ya.
Attention's off of you.
Yeah.
What's your girlfriend Clementine doing?
I'm looking for her, but I don't
She's
see
in the
her.
other section.
Yeah, now we're kind of centered, but still it's the boys and the girls.
Right.
So then they acknowledged me and they're like, guest Josh. I'm like, oh crap, they knew my name. Please accept our apology for the spectacle
Okay.
and join us on stage.
Oh boy.
I'm like, no,
Dude,
no.
do not go on that stage.
I don't. I have stage fright
Yeah. And
and cult fright.
they're going to
Right.
sacrifice you,
Well,
Are they still chanting
or-
meat?
no, they
punish you.
Okay.
yeah, they have stopped.
So now you're
They've
being
calmed down.
Now you're
Yeah.
being exalted.
So they're like, Barry, please hold Gordon here.
Okay.
And everyone, please continue the celebration and go make your plates. So I'm like, okay, thank God.
All right, you're
Everybody
good.
gets to leave. So I step up on stage. And on stage, there's kind of like, those 4x4 gardens?
Yeah.
Where it's like piece of wood.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know, but
it's
Wayne
like,
does.
I don't know.
It's just
like,
it's a garden, but there's
It's 4x4.
walls on four.
yeah.
on four
Well,
sides.
it's like a 4x8. Looks like a 4x8 garden.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
it's
okay.
just full of like,
Those I'm aware of.
it's recessed, but it's just full of like spiky fruit.
Gotcha.
So that's what I see.
Like
in-
pineapples?
No. Well, like pineapples, but it's another fruit. called
Okay.
It's like a flower bed with spiky fruit.
A durian? I come to
Oh,
find
the
out.
durian, yeah.
Okay.
They are spiky fruit, actually.
Thank you. Yeah.
I said
So-
that. He pointed at Cameron. I said that.
Yeah, good call,
I
Cam.
got you, bro.
So I keep my distance, obviously, from the Triune because I don't want to be within reach of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to get smacked.
By an
No.
elder.
Thank you. And they're in a huddle, and then I see Clementine. She approaches with a plate of food. So I'm like,
Nice.
jackpot.
Good girl,
This
man.
is getting better. The one guy, the jerk guy, he's getting in trouble. I'm not getting in trouble.
Yeah.
But the fruit's kind of weird. It's like a banana that's been melon balled.
What?
You've seen a melon baller.
Yeah.
I've seen a banana.
Yeah. You seen a melon baller?
It's like,
Yeah,
an
but
ice,
I've
it's,
never-
it's like an ice cream scoop.
I know, but I've never made my banana into little balls.
No, I
But
get
you're
the,
not in a cult, though.
That's true.
I have the reverse of the melon balls. So I have the banana that has scooped out, and then they've placed cherries
What?
in it.
Oh, no, that sounds like a treat.
It is a treat. I
You've
I
gone
ate
from
it.
being potentially sacrificed to
You're
here's a
eating-
nice fruit treat.
Yeah, you're
Oh,
eating
yeah.
a cherry stuffed banana.
Here's a fruit cup, you
It's
4-year-old.
It was delicious. So
Ants on a log.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, thank you. So then I look up and I'm like, Clementine's got this big tattoo on her neck. I'm like, holy crap!
But
Didn't
did
see
you not
that
notice it on the way in? Because the mask.
mask,
Oh,
face,
COVID
paint.
mask, yeah.
And I've always said, I want to date someone with a neck tattoo.
You have said that to me in private.
So I'm like, this could work out, right?
Right.
Yeah.
What was the tattoo?
So I go, is that a cornucopia?
No.
A what?
It looked like a Thanksgiving cornucopia,
Like a horn?
like a horn, but with
Oh
fruit,
my
but with fruit
gosh.
spilling out,
Come on.
which I could have got behind.
She has a tattoo of a basket of fruit.
Well, she corrected me. She says it's a horn of plenty.
I bet it is.
Oh my
I bet it is
gosh.
Clementine.
I'm like, well, that's kind of confusing. What's the difference? Cornucopia, horn of plenty, whatever. So they go, Gordon, please approach. The Triune has decided your punishment. So I'm like,
Okay.
here we go, baby.
Get that guy.
F him up.
Yeah.
So the guy sitting at the true chair, in the true chair, and I come find out that true, false, and partho are 3 types of fruit.
Of
So-
course.
I guess the Guinness or what, I don't know what it's called. There are 3 types. Some fruit with ovaries
Like
and
the
seeds.
scientific name?
Yeah.
Okay.
So true, false, and partho.
Okay.
I wouldn't
gosh.
eat any of them if they told me it that way.
No.
No.
But so he comes up. So True stands up and he's like, Gordon, please remove your sandals.
Oh. Is that a big deal?
Yeah, you'll be doing the durian
Is there
walk.
like a gasp?
No.
Oh.
He's assigned to do the
What?
durian walk.
So instead of coals, he's walking on like spiky fruit.
So this fruit is called the porcupine pineapple because of how spiky it is. That's true
Come
story.
on.
I've called it that.
yeah.
That's where they
Porcupine pineapple.
they don't advertise as that because it's less appetizing. But you want to eat a porcupine pineapple?
I did.
So that's what was coming down your way, probably.
That's what I was
If
thinking.
you hadn't
That's
been
what
a
he was trying to
guest.
do to me.
Oh, so Gordon was trying to make you do the
Gordon was
spiky
trying to
fruit walk.
bust me for being an Omni.
Okay.
But now Gordon,
He's in trouble by the elders.
Because he tattletaled.
He missed 2 harvest meetings.
Right.
He didn't know that Mercury is in retrograde as a guest attended meeting.
Right.
And now he's going to have to do the durian walk. So I'm like, sucker.
And now you're a spectator to this.
Yeah, now I'm a spectator.
Front
So
row.
then the false chair stands up and she says, you will no longer be called Gordon with a U. You will be known as Gordon for the remainder of 2020.
No.
What does that mean?
Gordon with a U.
Gordon doesn't have a U.
His fruit name's been taken from him.
Oh my God. A
gourd.
gourd?
A gourd is a fruit.
Like from Thanksgiving?
I looked it up.
These fruit people. He's been stripped of his fruit title, and now
when
he's
I got
normal
home,
Gordon.
I got home. I was like, what's the significance of Gordon with a U?
Oh my God.
But I couldn't find any like ancestry spelling.
Yeah, I
Like,
wouldn't
right.
imagine.
But now he's the true punishment,
Now he's just Gordon.
with no U.
He's not Fruity Gordon.
Yeah.
What a terrible name
terrible
to go from
name.
Fruity Gordon to just Gordon.
Honestly, I would be crushed.
Yeah.
So then Partho stands up and they say, once your durian walk is done, you will not get the traditional sandals back. Your sandals will be made of bramble,
No.
which apparently is a blueberry type
the
of
leaves?
plant with thorns. It is a fruit.
This goes so deep.
These people waste nothing.
They waste nothing.
They waste nothing.
No, they're in fruit. They're fruit in, fruit out.
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Amen.
And Josh has
Amen.
always said that.
So then they go, Clementine, please have your husband drive Josh home.
What?
Wait, what?
That's what I'm saying. So this story.
Wait, Gordon?
Yeah. No.
Oh.
Hand on my shoulder. I turn around. Kiwi standing there.
The Kiwi, the guy from part
Clementine's
one.
married a Kiwi?
Yes. That explains why his
Wait a
gruffness
second.
was in the beginning.
When she walked in with you, he took her from you.
Did they just
And he was kind of jerky to me.
did they take their good looking women
Baited me.
to bring
They
you
baited
into a
me.
new cult?
So
Oh my God.
he drives me home, complete silence, right? And then I'm getting out. I'm trying to talk to him the whole time, like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, what's
Yeah.
happening?
What's going on?
Right.
And I get out.
Why
and
does your wife have a Horn of Plenty tattoo?
bingo? And what kind of marriage is that?
Right.
Is she still interested in me? Are y'all serious?
So can I call her?
Yeah.
Or
Are things on the out?
Do you want
Yeah.
these clothes back?
And so he just says, "We'll be in touch."
Okay.
And I get out, and so I'm like, "Well, God,
You're like, no thanks.
yeah, I don't think I want to be in touch with that."
Right.
And so, I get a message from her, and she's like, "Let me discuss. This is embarrassing."
Yeah.
Dude, block her.
Well, I wanted to hear what was going on. Maybe she potentially is getting separated from Kiwi. And
You're
maybe I'd
still
have a
interested?
chance.
Oh my
So-
gosh.
That's crazy, bro. He does.
So apparently, she says, we realize your reach, and we realize we have to grow, and so we thought I could bring you in. We weren't going. We didn't mean to have you exposed to everything immediately, which is why there's a different meeting for guests
Yeah.
and for
Right.
members. And I'm like, well, I'm going to talk about this on the show. And she's like, yeah, okay. I mean, just a condensed version. Don't say too much.
Wait a
Wait,
minute.
she
They
wanted you
They
to.
recruited you in to help recruit for the cult. And we fell for it.
We felt
And I was all for
on
it
2 episodes.
All for it. Until I got kicked out of the preliminary round because I guess I said too much.
well,
last week.
obviously.
So
So can we just clarify that you're kind of, foray back into dating starts off with a bang. You get accidentally recruited into a cult.
Yes.
mhm.
And
That's
then
kind
somehow
of normal in these kind of days.
tricked into advertising that cult on our show.
well,
A
with the
syndicated
You
program.
used us for free advertisement.
with love potentially. So it was worth
Potentially.
it. At
She's
the end.
married to another man.
Well, yeah, she said it's serious. She did tell me at the end.
They're pretty serious.
They're pretty serious.
Oh, they're committed.
Yeah. But that once I got in, I could I had my choice.
of other fruit lovers.
Yeah, of other fruit lovers.
Listen, there are plenty of people that love fruit that aren't in a fruit cult.
well, I don't
Yeah,
know.
Cameron's sitting right here.
I
Hey,
know.
loves fruit.
Love me, baby.
But he doesn't know about the banana, the melon baller. I
I
want
d-
someone that's got that experience.
the cherry stuff banana is
That
new to
is a
me, and
good
I'm kind of
idea.
interested in what other tricks they have, to be honest.
Can I just say, we have people who
Yeah.
message in. One, they're interested in Joshua
Uh-huh.
because he's
Oh,
single,
yeah.
the only single guy on the show.
Mhm.
A
only
lot,
good-looking
a lot,
guy on the show.
every
lot
single
single,
week.
a
And
lot
this guy
single.
foregoes those potential suitors
Clementine,
for a
bro.
lady in a fruit cult.
Well,
jeez.
when she got off the phone, she apologized. She said, "Just remember, the horn is always watching. The horn is always listening.
What?
The horn is plenty."
Shut up. Jonathan Alexander always knew he would be a rancher.
Oh, we knew it too, baby.
Seinfeld. I love.
Come on. When he was born in 1891,
Uh-oh.
that's just what young men his age did back then,
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Ranch.
especially in his area. Okay, so Jonathan's dad had been a rancher. His dad before him had also been the same thing,
A rancher.
a rancher.
Thank you.
So growing up in Arkansas, it was just a given back in those days.
Rancher.
You're going to be ranching, baby.
Oh, yeah. Arkansas was
They love
made
the
for
ranch.
ranchers.
That's what happened with Jonathan. But basically, he started wanting something different with his life. He dropped out of school at the age of 13, and for the past 3 years, he had just been traveling around the same areas, working for the same people.
Ranches.
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 Yeah.
Ranches and ranches.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're a ranchee if you work for the
Right.
rancher.
But he had a good skill set, right? He could fix stuff, raise animals, herd cattle, and when you're really good at something, that's kind of what you tend to stick with, right?
Oh, yeah.
Man, baby.
For sure.
Until one day he's on this random job on somebody else's ranch,
Ranging.
just ranching, and Jonathan heard something that sounded too good to be true. Another worker who was there was talking about leaving Arkansas for a bigger and better life.
Oh, bigger ranch?
Bigger.
I don't
ranch,
know.
bro.
Well, he says initially, Jonathan thought that the guy was talking about California. His logic
Nice.
was that because at this point in American history, people were still heading out west for the gold rush.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. So the 40s and 50s is kind of when the gold rush was. But this was, people were still kind of going out there at this time.
Naturally.
I like to think I would have gone.
I think I'd go today and look for gold.
If they discovered more gold, I would go. But this fella was actually going on and on about the greatest state in the Union, Florida.
Oh,
Hey,
let's
there we go.
go.
Bigger and better opportunities in
That
Florida.
is our slogan: the greatest state in the world.
Come on. So Jonathan and a few of the other ranch hands were a bit confused
Yep.
because just like California had a reputation for gold, Florida had a reputation even back then for crazy.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like,
and it goes
sounds
that
good.
far?
What happens if you're a rancher and you like cut your hand? You go, "Oh, I cut my ranch hand," and someone's like, "Huh? Who should we check out here?"
maybe he stabbed his ranch hand.
Bingo.
I got it.
Thank you.
I get it, Josh.
This guy looking at me like he never heard the term before.
He's
He does
really-
it on purpose.
He's really confused.
He knew I'd freeze up.
So basically, even back then, though, Florida is where people went to disappear.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
jeez.
It's supposedly all swamp
Yeah.
and monsters. All right.
Oh,
it's,
God.
it's not supposedly. It definitely is.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
Well, the monsters
Swamp
part
and
isn't that far off.
Oh, here we go.
Especially in this story.
oh,
So because
jeez.
according to this other ranch worker, they could find work in the Sunshine State, basically ranching the strangest creatures anyone had ever seen.
What?
Yeah. Is there a difference between a ranch and a farm?
There's a small one. A farm has vegetables.
Yeah, farm is your.
Okay.
You're the fruit man.
That's
you should know
not a
this.
vegetable, you dumb idiot.
You're in a fruit
Ranch animals.
Basically, he said there were farms there with great beasts
Whoa.
and giant birds and other
What?
prehistoric creatures.
I mean,
That's what
let's
this
go.
guy is saying
Giant birds.
to this group of workers
If
here.
I was a rancher, that's where I'd want to go. I would want to ranch something exotic.
Right. Well, that's the thing. Jonathan does too.
Yeah.
Because everybody else in that group, they were like, this guy's full of crap. Let's get back to work.
Giant birds. The dodo was extinct 200 years ago.
I know. And a dodo's real small.
Yeah.
Right? So Jonathan, though, but he hears what this guy is saying. He's like, brother, I'm feeling you. Like,
I'm feeling
let's see what happens, right? So the idea of leaving Arkansas and heading south to tame exotic beasts really appealed to him.
Yeah.
So in 1907, that's exactly what he did.
Whoa.
That's
Okay.
a long trip.
Well, here's the thing. Armed with nothing but the stories from a strange guy he worked with, Jonathan Alexander, he sets out on this great journey to Florida. But to put it in perspective, if you were able to find a train to hop
Okay.
on,
Yeah.
it would have been a 60-hour train journey.
God bless.
Okay. Jonathan was not able to find a train to get on.
Yeah.
I don't think they went from Arkansas straight to the ranch in
And if you
Florida.
don't
Right,
have a
sure.
map of train tracks, you just have to stumble across
Well,
one.
this guy just
Yeah.
kind of decided he was going to walk.
To
So-
Florida?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So at 17 years old, Jonathan set off on a
Oh
900-mile
my gosh.
Lord of the Rings style adventure to the land of Florida on nothing but hearsay.
I love
What?
it. I
Nothing
love
but
it.
just
He's
there
like,
may be some exotic beast down there.
Pretty sure it's east.
Yeah.
What's
I'll go that way.
Yeah, he's
It's
got
east.
it.
Yeah, he's like,
Arkansas.
I'm heading down there. We'll see what happens. So if he had walked 12 hours a day, it still would have
Okay.
taken a month.
What?
He had a bindle. for
Yeah,
sure.
it's
He had-
Oh, yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
but he wasn't walking 12 hours a day
Okay.
because no one really does that. So Jonathan left Arkansas in May. He arrived in Florida
Jesus.
in late August.
Wow.
Goodness.
He's picked the worst
I
time
love
to
it. Yeah, for
travel.
real.
No, that's so true. And I think he
So
really
hot.
underestimated Florida's heat
That just speaks for how good the ranch life is in Arkansas.
or the fantasy ranch life that he's anticipating.
This is true.
So Jonathan shows up in Florida, and to his disappointment, he couldn't find anyone willing to offer him a job that was different than what he was doing in Arkansas.
Jesus.
Okay.
Well, we got a ranch over here,
But it's
or
just-
Tim's ranch.
That's basically what it was. They were like, we need this fence repaired, or you can herd these cattle. And he was like, I've been doing that.
He's like, oh my god.
I didn't walk half a year to Florida to do what I've been doing in
So,
Arkansas.
what's your experience? What have you been doing the last 6 months? Walking.
Walking, just
Mostly.
walking. So naturally, he's kind of bummed out,
Yeah.
and he's refusing to take these normal jobs.
Nice.
He's like, I'm not going to do it. I
Real
didn't walk all this
snobby.
way for that.
A
Right.
real snobby homeless man.
Right, exactly. So he's like, no way. I didn't walk all this way to do that. Basically, to be doing what I was already doing, but in hotter weather.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
More miserable.
Right. So he starts traveling further into the state. He's asking anyone he can see about these farms with strange animals. And pretty much everyone's looking at him like, dude, you're crazy, man.
Yeah.
Like, we don't know what you're talking
The
about.
heat has affected your brain.
Either
Right.
that or they're keeping like the best secret ever.
They're like, we're not
That's
letting this
true.
stranger in
Yeah.
on our fancy farms.
Where are you from again?
Well, kid, this guy was like 8 miles outside of a town called Jacksonville
Wow.
when he met a man at a saloon who told him about a farm where people raised giant birds.
Jackpot.
Oh,
He's like, I
no.
knew it.
And
I
they
knew it was
didn't just
real.
raise giant birds, they actually rode giant birds.
What?
Okay.
Okay, so
Not
people,
familiar.
people
I'm
around this
unfamiliar
farm,
with any bird that can be ridden at this time.
people around this farm opted to ride these giant birds over riding on horseback.
Who?
Well,
what?
if there's an option to ride it and possibly fly, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Well,
And lay
okay,
an egg
Well,
that you can eat for breakfast.
this is
What?
exactly horses lay eggs.
Do
Yeah,
they?
Yeah.
dumb. Read a book.
Yeah. So this is exactly what Jonathan had been looking for. Okay. So
Yeah.
he immediately heads towards Jacksonville, and within a day, he finds what can only be described as the strangest ranch anyone has ever seen.
I mean,
People are riding birds at this.
yeah, it's pretty strange.
People were,
Are
in
these
fact,
human-sized people,
riding
though?
giant birds.
Okay.
What?
Normal sized people riding giant birds. Jonathan approaches a ranch hand, a worker, and he goes, hey, dude, like, what is this place?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I
Right?
seeing what
What-
I'm seeing?
What is that creature?
Right. So the worker replies, he's like, what are you from out of town or something? It's a ranch. Just like very blasé, like it's a ranch, bro.
It's a
like
ranch,
you
bro,
never, you
with
never
the
been to
birds.
one. And so at this point, Jonathan thinks he's taking crazy pills. Like he can't believe what he's
Yeah.
seeing. But the legends were real. People in Florida were in fact raising, taming, and riding giant birds. And so he explains to the worker the situation.
Mhm.
He's like, look, I've heard about this place.
Yep.
I traveled from Arkansas. I'm great at all this work. Can you please give me a job here?
And they're like, no, there's no train from Arkansas to here, sir.
Well,
I know you're lying.
Here's the thing. Basically, this worker, this ranch hand, he introduces himself to Jonathan. He says, "Look, my name is Marty. I love what you're telling me, and let me tell you, the boss is sure gonna love you."
What?
Really?
Okay. So now Jonathan is down the rabbit hole. Okay. Marty
Loves
starts
Arkansasians.
right. Marty starts giving Jonathan a tour of the place,
Oh my
and for the
gosh.
most part, on the surface, it appears to be a normal kind of farm/ranch.
Yeah.
Except the people were training giant birds. They're riding giant birds. There were
They're not-
folks.
are they writing these for transport?
There were folks dressed like jockeys who were also racing each other
They're racing on birds.
in giant
Okay.
birds.
Okay.
So when Jonathan felt like he couldn't process any more of what he was seeing, he realized that a very well-dressed man was standing in front of him,
oh, Jesus.
and Marty.
snuck
so-
up on me.
Right. So Marty speaks up and he goes, "Hey, this Jonathan, this is our boss, the man who created this place. His name is Edwin Costin." Okay.
Sounds
So
fancy.
they exchange pleasantries, and Marty tells the boss, Edwin, that Jonathan heard about us and he walked here all the way from
Wow.
Arkansas. And Edwin Costin kind of gives Jonathan a chance to explain his work history. And after he does so, on the spot, he hires him.
Wow.
Does he try to downplay the ranch stuff so he doesn't have to do ranch stuff?
Well, it'd
be pretty mean to
ranching.
not hire him and be like, you're going to have to walk back, I guess.
Well, Edwin, the boss, says, believe it or not, we have a very hard time finding good help. The locals don't like this place. And so we could actually use an experienced ranch hand. We can't find locals to do it because they don't believe in what we're doing. And so
I'm
Edwin,
not sure I believe in what they're doing.
not sure
I think you felt like Jonathan felt when you show up. Like, what's going on?
Crazy pills?
So Edwin goes on to explain to Jonathan how this place came to be. A few decades prior, Edwin, who had been traveling the world looking for exotic species, stumbled upon a tribe in Africa who rode bird-like creatures called ostriches.
Love it.
I'm familiar.
Okay.
I didn't know they were ridden ever.
Yeah.
I didn't know that either.
So he immediately began importing ostriches to the United States, and after starting a small farm in California, he tracked all the way to Florida to open a larger one in Jacksonville.
You got to
Jeez.
think the first guy that goes cruising by you on an ostrich. You got to think, what the heck is
What's
happening?
going on? So Jonathan learned that Edwin didn't want to just raise ostriches. He wanted to provide entertainment to the masses. Hence the jockeys racing around on the giant birds.
Yeah, because it wears off probably pretty quick if they're
Once
not
you see
actively
one
doing
person
something.
on an ostrich, you've seen a million.
Exactly.
Yeah,
but if
luckily
they're
I've got a
racing,
list of
though-
things here that they do. So the Florida Ostrich Farm, as it was known, featured not only ostrich races,
Okay.
but ostrich-drawn carriage rides,
Oh my,
my
gosh.
a fully operational movie theater where the ladies would serve you wearing ostrich boas and costumes,
What?
That's less appealing.
a restaurant that did indeed have ostrich on the menu and ostrich eggs, and a chance for the visitors to ride the ostriches themselves.
Okay, go back.
That's
You said ostrich eggs, but
And-
also ostrich meat.
Yeah,
Well-
it turns out once you can't run around anymore,
you're not
I mean,
put on the
you're not
menu.
getting the most healthy ostrich steak.
right. So basically, I was really excited about the ostrich-drawn carriages,
Yeah.
but the ladies wearing the ostrich outfits does sound like a fever dream.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's because ostrich legs are hideous.
Oh, for sure.
So to
Yeah.
have that part to look down
I
at.
know. Well, if it wasn't enough, there was also a center stage where every other month, a lady by the name
Oh
Hand
my
of God
God,
of
bless.
Annie Oakley,
No,
the world's
way.
best female sharpshooter, would come and perform for hundreds of guests.
on an ostrich.
I don't know about that,
Cameron?
but she came to the ostrich farm.
Wasn't that you? Didn't you play that part?
Oh,
Annie
and-
Oakley.
Yes, in my school
He did.
musical.
Uh-huh.
So if you're having a hard time processing this, I just, again, imagine how Jonathan felt. I
Oh,
mean, like,
yeah.
he shows up to this brand new world in Jacksonville and it's just like, what is happening here? So this place wasn't just a farm. It was basically a weird ostrich theme park.
I think if they put like some ostrich eggs out and let Annie like shoot the top off them,
Oh, come
I'd
on.
eat it like as a
And you come
yeah. Dum, dum, dum.
I'm not
Protein.
mad. So Jonathan not only grew to love his job, but he also grew to love the area. He settled down in Jacksonville and he got married. They had 3 children who also grew up thinking that riding birds was normal.
Oh my gosh.
So
They rode him to school.
he
Oh,
worked
geez.
at the Florida Ostrich Farm until 1937.
Wow.
Wow.
When the state kind of stepped in and they closed their doors for good.
Yeah,
What?
I was wondering, like,
Why?
how legal is that now?
Well, it's that, when you got a neighbor with influence, he can shut your ostrich farm down.
Well,
I've
and
always said
honest to goodness, though, it more than likely wasn't a moral issue as much as it was big money, like cattle and that
It's
kind of
gotta be.
stuff.
Yeah.
We're like, hey,
there's worse animal
They're riding
abuse.
ostriches over there.
yeah, we need to shut this down. But if you're interested in this, you can actually find pictures online.
I'm
Literally,
interested.
it's
Yeah, I'm
incredible. And we had quite a few people send these in kind of over the course of our show.
Is there a modern one anywhere?
No.
Oh, okay.
These are all classic photos kind of from that time
Uh-huh.
where people were riding. I think it's frowned upon now, but
Were
this
people
was,
smaller back then? Because
I
I
think
can't imagine
so.
myself riding.
Well, there's
a
probably
bird.
a weight limit.
there probably
Oh,
is a
thanks.
weight
Yeah.
limit. I'm not sure
Thank
that
you.
modern Americans would have.
You can ride it, but let's say you're gonna have to buy the bird after.
Yeah.
I'd be in the carriage with the 8 ostriches pulling me around.
You can ride it, but the menu's going to get bigger after you're done. So yeah, we had a lot of people send those pictures in, and I think we're going to post them on social media and probably on fromawesome.com.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
cool.
So you can see them. But just to show you that if you hear a rumor or legend about Florida, there's a really good chance that it's true.
That's
That's
wild.
that's
crazy.
And luckily for Jonathan, it was because he walked all the way here. But goodness gracious,
I don't
What
think
a
you can
trip.
say you could name an animal that hasn't had a news story or something in Florida.
nonstop.
Like,
We
why
just,
would ostriches be in Florida?
I-
Someone brought them to ride them.
100%. And that's kind of the thing. It's always interesting is when something weird happens, it's always like a step higher of weirdness. So
Yeah.
there's not just
Can't be
ostriches here.
normal.
People are racing them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
It was like the cassowaries.
Bingo.
yeah, only
mean,
in
I was-
Florida, dude.
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
Famafam.com is where you can find some
Famafam.com.
extra stuff. If you want to
good
see
one.
this,
Extra stuff.
yeah, extra Ostrich extra stuff. If you're interested in bonus episodes, live streaming, bonus material, behind the scenes, it's patreon.com/FromOffM podcast, FMOFM podcast. And we love your support, and that's where you can support us financially.
Keeps us going.
That keeps the show going,
And you get to see us.
and you get to see us. Right now, we're live
We're
streaming.
gotta
Live
be more
streamers.
good.
It's gotta be more of a
today.
negative though.
I think once you see the voices or the bodies behind the voices,
Yeah.
you'll understand all the heavy breathing.
You understand
hear.
why you cancel your Patreon.
We do love you guys so much. All of our social media handles are FMOFM podcast, except for Facebook. It's Florida Man on Florida Man podcast. We'd love for you guys to like, follow, subscribe,
Amen.
leave us reviews on Apple Podcasts. That helps a lot. And we just appreciate you all around,
So much.
Yeah.
Josh is in a cult.
Yes.
I haven't been accepted.
I think that's a great way to go out, just to remind you guys that Josh's love life
Yeah.
is
It's
It's
a
a cult.
become pretty exotic.
Cult life.
Let's go.